Welcome everyone to yet another episode of the Transatlantic Takedown. It's been a while, Megan. Um,
Yeah,
we're back. How have you
it's
been?
been a minute. I've been good. I've been good. People have been finding me every once in a while on my other social media accounts, whether it's Twitter or Instagram. Um, Hoping to update my podcast soon.
Yeah,
Um, when it's soon, I don't know, but soon. How have you been?
yeah, pretty good, pretty good. Staying busy. It is difficult to keep up with it all. I think the way you've been absent, we'd say, but you can suffer a little bit from burnout. I think it's sometimes, so it's always nice to take a bit of a break.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. You don't want to keep people. I mean, the attention span of folks nowadays is rather short, so you
Yeah,
don't want to stay away for too long because people will move on and find um, other sources of entertainment. So,
yeah.
for
You get
those,
forgotten about very
yeah,
easily.
yes. So I will be back soon. Trust me,
Yeah.
I will be back soon.
Well, there's a lot to get into this weekend. A lot of wrestling happening over the weekend, an insane amount, to be honest, and so much to talk about in such little time. But we have Money in the Bank, which is coming live from Los Angeles tomorrow night. Um,
Yes.
what are your
Yes.
thoughts?
Well, we actually have a very busy weekend. We do have, of course, TNA's pay-per-view tonight. We have SmackDown tonight. We have Worlds Collide tomorrow. We have Money in the Bank tomorrow. We also have MLWs, um, War Chambers tomorrow. And so it's a busy weekend for wrestling. But you know, I started off excited about Money in the Bank, but a lot has kind of happened that made me a little disinterested in it. But I will
Yeah,
still tune in because this is one of their four, pay-per-views, their major pay-per-views. And I do want to see who wins the briefcase for both the men and the women's division. Like that's probably the most. Those are the matches that I'm most interested in.
yeah. I think like we always had the original four pay-per-views, but this has become one of the next in line. I suppose the kind of mid one after that. There's always a lot of speculation around it, a lot of anticipation. And look, WWE, we all know, have been getting a bit of flack recently for various decisions they're making, and releases that have been. We've seen a lot of
Nonsense.
big names, yeah, and so I
Yes.
think this needs to be a big one. It needs to come across really, really well for for them to maybe pull back some of those people that have been kicking off over it all. But this to go to this match first, this is one I'll be following, of course, very
Yeah.
closely because of who's involved. The ladies flying the flag for Ireland,
Yes. Who are you
and
rooting for?
well, I look, I like both of them. I mean, they're both fantastic in their own right. It's kind of Lyra's won two of them now at this stage, the match in NXT and then at Backlash. So I would be expecting Becky to win this one. I know there's the stipulations involved that Lyra has to raise her hand, or if Lyra wins, Becky doesn't challenge her anymore for it. But yeah, I don't know. I just think Becky is going to win this one.
I mean, would it make sense for them to have Becky once again in a title defense for the same title to lose for a second time? I do wonder if this is the match that Bayley returns to get her revenge on Becky.
But Bailey is quite active on social media, being in
Yes.
some heavy training with Lyra's fiance there this evening, LJ Cleary. I saw it on Instagram. So yeah,
So I
I
wouldn't
do
be
think.
surprised if this is the match that Bayley does return. I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm just not crazy with the personality of Becky right now. This is not
Yeah,
this is not her strongest heel moment. We have seen Becky really go beyond heel. We have seen Becky really go below the belt and cut people deep. I feel like she's holding back a lot. It's just she's not the at the level that she once was when it comes down to the personality. This is not speaking of her wrestling.
do
This
you
is
think
just
it's
the
maybe
heel in her.
a fact that they have so much respect? They're from the same country. They've done a lot together in the past. I do think she's bringing out the best in Lyra. I think Lyra has come on leaps and bounds since this kind of began, and even last week, when we saw Lyra the promo, on the microphone, she's gotten a lot stronger. The personality is coming out now, where I think in the past she was a little bit hesitant or even a little bit nervous in some ways. But I just think we're starting to see the best of her now.
Yeah, but should the fact that they come from the same country, that she has been there for Lyra, helping her, training her. Like she said, you wouldn't have a fiance if it wasn't for me. So she's definitely been involved in her personal life.
Mm.
Should that be an excuse for the laissez-faire when it comes down to what Becky is doing now? No.
I don't know. Like, I don't know
because
what other things are going on in the background, whether it's just a sign of, production. We know things have changed in recent times there.
it sounds like you just want to put a bandage over it. That's what it sounds like. But
Um,
look, she never held back when it came down to Nia Jax. She never held back when it came down to her and Charlotte Flair, and they had real life beef with each other. She never held back with Bayley, even when she came
what
back
do you
at
think it is?
WrestleMania.
What do you
I
think it is that's
just
holding her back?
maybe this is just not her heart is not in it.
Do you
Her heart
think?
is just not in it.
Do you think she's like Cena? She's just doesn't have it now.
No, I just think she probably came back sooner than she wanted to. I think she enjoyed being with her daughter. I think she enjoyed, just letting her husband, run things, and she just explored other things outside of wrestling. Like she was doing improv classes and stuff, probably wanted to get into acting. She did acting on the Rock's TV show and other things. I think Becky just wanted to explore other things, but with WWE taking a huge chunk of the women's division away,
Yeah.
she had to come back. She had to come back a lot sooner than she intended to. And now, it's just I feel like she'll always love wrestling. I just don't feel like her heart is really in it right now.
But
So
if you feel that way about this, is that not a sign of the overall product that we're getting from WWE recently?
absolutely, absolutely. I watch AEW. I see their stadiums are starting to be packed now. They're selling out. And
Yeah.
maybe it's because of the downfall in the product of WWE. Maybe it is because the tickets are sitting there costing a car note, mortgage, your children. Hey, little Johnny, you can't go to college.
Yeah.
Daddy got to go to WrestleMania. So it could have a lot to do with the pricing of it all. People not enjoying it. People, their
And
favorite
maybe that's
wrestlers
starting to
are being
spill
fired.
over. Maybe that's all of that is starting to spill over into the actual events themselves, the build-ups, because of all of that is going on in the background. There is unrest. And I know we always keep hearing about all these events. We have the highest gate, the this, that, and the other. But yeah, of course you do, because you're charging 3 times the price you were before.
Absolutely. But even with the smaller venues, they were still empty.
Yeah.
They were still empty. You still had the dimming of the lights, so you can't really see that up all the way at the top. Those seats are empty. AEW know what they're doing now. Their cameramen are starting to scope the whole arena to show that the whole arena is starting to get packed again. And
Yeah.
that has a lot to do with people, their faves are being let go. And now they want to see their favorite wrestlers. They're not going to see them at WWE. They're going to see them elsewhere. So now you want to see more of these people going to these independent shows. You want to see more of them going to AEW because that's where their faves are, and most likely TNA.
Well, that's it. Like, at the minute, we have 4 matches lined up for tomorrow night. Like, you couldn't really have much more than that if you want to give them all the respect they deserve, like especially the 2 ladder matches, and let them breathe and let them develop. But are we going to see like another event littered with advertisements? Most likely, yes.
Yeah. WWE. Some people would say WWE sold their soul a long time ago. But if they sold their soul when Vince was in charge, then what do they do now that TKO has bought them? Because now you have the ring stamped with logos. Outside of the ring, it's stamped with logos. You still have that cart of that nasty Drake Prime. You have commercials all throughout the shows. And for a show that's roughly going to be 3 hours, 2.5 at most, 4 matches.
Yeah.
4 matches.
Unless something else is announced tonight on SmackDown, which is a possibility.
Always.
But with the 2 ladder matches, there's 6 competitors in each of those matches. You'd expect, them to be given a sufficient amount of time. But look, we said it at the outset. They need to produce something pretty big tomorrow night, and across tomorrow we have Worlds Collide as well, because yeah, there is a lot of unrest there amongst fans.
Right.
But
Well,
getting
I have
back,
no doubt. I have no doubt the wrestlers are getting paid, but TKO is lining their pockets as well. So,
it's
like
not
the
it's
big
not a
wigs
charity.
is definitely getting paying themselves first. Let's just call
Yeah,
it for what it is. And it's not like they hard up on money. You're not. And the wrestlers are not hard up on money. They get paid rather well. And the budget should be great, seeing that's how you got rid of from September to this past month. You got rid of at least 30 plus people.
yeah, and
And that's just the
Arthur,
wrestlers.
that
That's
was
just the
crazy.
wrestlers. You still have people behind the scenes. Someone that I am associated with, they have since lost their job after almost a decade of being there as well. So You know,
These are the people we don't hear about.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll land. He's very talented and he's been there for a long time. And whether it's AEW or TNA, they will benefit from him being there. Definitely.
Yeah. No, definitely. And
Yay.
I am. Yeah, somebody said during the week there, it's not WWE anymore. It's TKO. You just
It's
refer to it
CK.
as TKO. Um,
That's
and
all it is.
we're still waiting on an announcement about WrestleMania. The odds are in favor of Vegas getting in. Whether that's going to be, announced tomorrow, I don't know. But yeah, Saudi Arabia is probably due to get. They're getting Royal Rumble next year. They'll probably get a WrestleMania in the next couple of years too. So yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to this match. I'm going to go with Becky to win this,
Yeah.
and like I
I'm
say,
definitely going with Becky too. If Becky doesn't win, it's because Bailey prevented her from winning. And maybe that's what will happen. If Bailey comes and she causes Becky to lose, then the feud between them two pick up. And if that's the case, I guarantee you're going to see a change in Becky's attitude.
yeah, maybe so, maybe so. But I'm looking forward to it anyway because the match at Backlash I thought was really, really good. So
Yeah.
hopefully we'll get more of the same. I know Triple H was saying it was. Did he say it was the best women's match?
Women's match you've seen in a
Bit
long time. And I
over
said,
the
Puppy
top.
H,
Yeah,
you know how to, you should be a politician. That's what I
yeah.
said when I saw that. You should be a politician because you know how to,
He's going.
you know
He's
what
going
to
to say
say.
anything now at this stage. But yeah. Which leads us on to the men's match. Surprising lineup in this overall. I think based on people's expectations and the qualifying matches and so on. Who was involved probably thought that there'd be some different names here, but it's nice to have a fresh lineup all the same too. But there's like what two possibilities here I think of winning this on paper that you'd think of.
Who's your second one?
Well, Seth for me is number
Mm.
one. I know it's quite obvious, but LA Knight would be my second pick. What about yourself?
I mean, Seth is the obvious choice. Penta would be my second choice.
Yeah.
But if I go by how they have been booking lately, I could really see them pushing this Chad Gable character. And I know that just pissed people off.
They might do
It would
that.
definitely piss people off. And it's why? Why? You have a legit lucha wrestler in the match. You have two. Excuse me. You have two Mexican wrestlers in this match. Why give it to the white man pretending to be a lucha wrestler? This is
But
something
isn't that
Vince
the
would
whole
do.
take? It's the whole piss take, isn't it? Really, though. I mean,
You know
that's
what?
that's the whole point of the character.
Like how people was like really upset that CM Punk didn't win. I was one of those people. I was. I was irritated. I would have taken AJ Styles. This man says he's not going to be around for much longer. He said his whole, he's about to wrap up his career. But you gave
Well,
it to El
there's a
Grande.
wild rumor going around today that I saw that Roman Reigns could be making a return here tomorrow night in El Grande Americano's place because Chad Gable is fighting earlier tomorrow, and he could be taken out in Worlds Collide, so El Grande will not be able to compete, and then Roman comes in. Now, I don't know, that's probably just craziness, but the fact CM Punk or AJ Styles didn't make it through, there must be alternative plans there. There has to be something different lined up for CM Punk.
I would hope so. I will hope so. I totally forgot that Chad is doing 2 matches tomorrow.
Or maybe he's not El Grande Americano.
Honestly, honestly, I would be a little irritated. Not irritated, that's the wrong term, but I would be happy if it's Roman, but that's not who I would want. I really feel like you need to throw Punk in this match, seeing as how him and Seth have this ongoing feud with each other.
But just anyway, if something happened where El Grande Americano couldn't compete, why should Roman just be allowed to step in anyway? You know, that's
because Roman that's just Roman Reigns. He just always had. But
yeah,
it wouldn't make sense, because if Roman was to even win, who would he challenge? His own cousin? Or is he challenging John Cena?
But would it make an interesting storyline to see Roman Reigns or the likes of Roman Reigns with the briefcase? I don't know.
Probably not. Probably not.
But either way, like you say, obviously we'd be thinking Seth Rollins win this one, but you don't know what they're going to do here. Like it could.
You're right, and you know what? Ain't too many things you have been saying in the comments, but this is what I can get. This is what I could get with. I could get with Karrion Kross being in the match. I can.
Mm-hmm.
However, Karrion contract is going to be expiring next month. And as far as we know, as far as he has said, no one has came to him about renewing it. I don't like that. But I'm sure they're probably, I hope it's like at the 11th hour, they'll go ahead and renew it, because he has had a pretty good year. The fans got his back. You know, he has gotten like the loudest pops in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone just really enjoyed the character of him kind of like going around and, you know, kind of turning everyone and stuff. So yeah, I would not like that at all. I think he should definitely be a part of it, you know. But
yeah, but I don't think it really matters. Like the fact Karrion Kross, he's very popular. He's selling a lot of merchandise. R-Truth was very popular, was selling a lot of merchandise. We have The Miz. There's talk about him maybe leaving soon.
Yeah, R-Truth was popular, but you know, R-Truth wasn't in many matches. R-Truth is a lot older, and you know, if we're gonna call a spade, R-Truth has been downgraded to comic relief for the last few years. He hasn't been in a real steady, consistent storyline in a long time. They always just bring him in to be the funny guy, and then you don't see him anymore. And again, that's not his fault. That's not on him. That's on them. Because if they saw him as valuable, they would have found something for him. And they never did. And that's what makes me nervous for the like of The Miz. That's what makes me nervous for someone like Natalya. But at the same time, Natalya is really the go-to person to train a lot of these wrestlers. So I don't really have too much fear for her, because I think they're always going to find something for her regardless. But, you know, if we're going to tell the truth, you know, R-Truth, he made a choice, and the choice was they gave him a budget cut. He was getting far less than what he was normally getting, and he made a choice that I would feel
Was that
everyone.
confirmed?
That's what I've been told.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people rather believe that R-Truth had been fired after all these years, after 25 years, rather than to think that maybe this man made a conscientious decision that I am worth more than what you're offering me, and so I'm not going to renew my contract.
Yeah, he's not going to be short of work.
And no one should. No one should. No one should take less than what they feel that they deserve.
No, definitely not.
But to think that he was automatically fired, I think it does a disservice when people are only telling half of the story. Yes, he was let go, but it was after they offered him something that he felt he did not deserve. He felt he deserved more, and he made the decision to walk
But
away
that
from
doesn't grab the headlines. That doesn't get the clicks, Megan.
It doesn't, but it gives him the power he deserved. So instead of people being angry and upset and mad and wanting to call Triple H the bald fraud, you know, you're right.
Yeah, but
it doesn't grab the headlines.
But let's go back there for a second. You're saying about Triple H being called the bald fraud, and you also said, well, R-Truth was reduced to comic relief, and he wasn't getting much storylines, right? Who does that come back to? Like, that's it. Triple H is overseeing the creative side of it, the booking side of it,
which is true.
So do you not feel that he does deserve a little bit of, criticism for some of these decisions?
For slack of it, yes. But again, R-Truth being downgraded to where he was didn't just start when Triple H started running creative. This has been for the last few years. This is while Vince was still running things. So it's not of something recent. Now, yeah, we're not going to take the blame away from Triple H, but we're also not going to shift all the blame on him either, because this has been going on for years. And last time we had a stream, we talked about it, and I said, yeah, Triple H might have some, he might have a lot of control when it comes down to things, but he still have bosses over him.
He does, but they're not in charge of that side of it. He has full creative control of that side of it. They're the money men for other things.
And Nick Khan is the money man, and Nick Khan will also throw a name in a hat too. He all throws hats in the names in the hats too. And when Nick Khan feel like he's looking at the budget, he's looking at the money, and he feel like, hey, maybe this person shouldn't be getting $500,000 a year.
Bean counters.
So there's more than one person that's making that final decision. But because Triple H is the face, he's going to get all the tomatoes thrown at him. But you still got a line of people behind him that is making those decisions.
Yeah. And The Rock is part of that board of directors too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Got a question here.
What would I rather have 2-3 more years of R-Truth or 10+ years? Yeah, but that's a good point. True. Yeah. No, I still wouldn't mind seeing R-Truth being around for another 2 to 3 years, though. In fairness,
they could have made room for him.
But in fairness, they're bringing in Mariah May. But look at the other names they cut loose recently.
people
also.
that didn't make no sense at all. I mean, people that literally make no sense
Like, can you
at
say
all.
Mariah May is so much better than some of the people there's such a list of them. I can't even think of it. But that left recently. Like, is she levels and levels above what was released?
Hmm, I mean, well, we're not going to include the men. We're not going to include the men wrestlers because that wouldn't be
No,
a,
there's no
a
point.
fair comparison. But if I was thinking in the likes of like a Dakota, Gigi, Cora, Indy, Electra, you know, when it, well, there's some women wrestlers who got let go that I felt could have, if they had more time, they could have became stronger.
Mm,
But when the likes of Mariah May, who has wrestled in places like Stardom and AEW, and she can fight under multiple wrestling styles, they
yeah,
might deem her as more valuable because
yeah.
she's multifaceted compared
She'd be
to
fast tracked through NXT.
the
That's
same way
yeah.
Stephanie and Julia was. So,
Mm,
I would compare her more so with them because they have multiple wrestling styles underneath them, whereas a lot of the wrestlers in WWE is just, American style wrestling,
yeah.
So, um, but they could have made room. I still feel like there's still people that just think let go and it just doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't understand Jakara. I'm still upset about Jakara,
Well,
but I feel
especially
like,
when they have Evolution coming up in July, and
which I wonder
it-
how that would be. That would be another 5 match pay-per-view. Hey, 5 women matches.
yeah, unless you have five, a few matches that are, I don't know, like six six women involved in it, but you can't have them all like that. But it makes you wonder, yeah, are they really going to showcase as much talent as they're kind of making out that they will? Um,
I hope that they start hiring more women writers and bookers because clearly they have an all boys club in the writers room and they can't seem to how can I say this without being insulted? They don't know their hand from their ass. And they lucky with some of the storylines that's going on. Like, let me tell you something. The only reason why the Naomi and Jade and Bianca storyline is so good is because all 3 of them is good by themselves, especially Naomi. She's carrying this character, this story, far more than anybody would have expected her to. So, and I'm glad that you brought this up because it will upset me if she does not win the Money in the Bank. Like, you have a choice here to really drive that story home by
well,
her winning.
she is my pick, Naomi, to win this tomorrow night. I do think if they want to go somewhere with her, like you're saying, now is the time to really put. Now, I'm really excited about the women's ladder match because of the talent that's involved. I think it's really really nice to see. Um, and Stephanie and Julia, Alexa Bliss. I mean, Roxanne. They're all top female
Mm,
talent, but I am going to go for Naomi with this one.
absolutely. I mean, listen, Julia and Stephanie and Roxanne, they have really shown their asses when they was in NXT. I think all 3 of them deserve to be in this match. And
Yeah.
I know that their careers is going to go far, especially with Roxanne being the youngest in the entire match. I know I mean, Roxanne got at least a good 10, 15 years left in her career. Like she's set, you know. Um, I know a lot of people, like I said before, a lot of people will be upset if Alexa win because they're going to feel very much like how when Charlotte won the Royal Rumble, she just came back. She haven't been involved in anything. You're just going to give the briefcase to her. There's that, right? Now, when it
Mm-hmm.
comes down to Rhea and Naomi, um,
I don't want to
Rhea
see
out of
Rhea Ripley winning
I
again.
don't want to
You
see her
know,
either because out of the six of them, Rhea is the one that had the most recent women's title opportunity
yeah.
out of the six of them. Um, but to see her up against Io again, so she could finally beat Io since she's never beat Io 1-on-1. No, we have ran that down to the ground. No more of that. She'll get her
Yeah.
opportunity to beat Io, but okay, she beats Io and then she gets the title again. What there? Where do we go from there? No. So honestly, the only sensible choice would be for Naomi to win
Yeah.
and let her go up against Tiffany.
I've said it before, like since Naomi has turned heel, we've seen her finest work. I think just the whole change in her character, the music, how she, her outfits, everything like that. I think it's just such a world away from the way she was, the glow and all that kind of stuff. I thought that had
Yeah.
gotten a bit stale. And you can even see with the crowd reaction, they'd been a bit bored of that. I just think, yeah, she makes a really, really good heel. And
Yeah.
it's now time that she gets the chance.
Yeah. Honestly, and that's the thing that makes it even more entertaining because she's having fun with it. Like you could tell she's actually enjoying being a
On the
heel. It's
social
not
media
just in the
stuff
ring.
too. Yeah.
Definitely on social media, the birthday cake with the razors in it. Um, Talking about how she broke it to Bianca's family's home and going through photo albums and stuff, and now she's slowly starting to turn on Bianca as well. At this point, she's having far too much fun being a heel. And we
Yeah.
are having a whole lot of fun watching her be this heel. And, honestly, I'll be online joining the rest, calling Triple H a bald fraud if he does not let Naomi win this match. Now I let you slide by giving Tiffany that briefcase, even though I really wanted Chelsea to win. That's who I was rooting for. But if
Yeah.
you let anybody else win outside of her, I'd give a pass to Stephanie. I would. But I think it's too soon for her to get a title opportunity. She just came on the main roster.
Well,
So
interestingly, tonight on SmackDown, Naomi and Roxanne and Julia are teaming up in a match against Stephanie, Alexa, and Rhea. So that'll be an interesting one. We're not going to see anything crazy by any means, but yeah, just a little taster, I suppose, for tomorrow night.
yes, I mean it'll be
And
good.
she does wear those shoes. Yeah, she does, I
Yeah,
guess.
she
But yeah,
does.
that's the cutbacks. That's the budget cuts. She has to wear the
Oh
same
my
shoe.
god. Yeah, no, she's still the glow. She just got caution all over her now, proceed with
Yeah.
caution, Hello. Hello
How are you
from
doing?
okay.
Welcome aboard. Yeah.
But yes, I'm team push Valkyrie too. I mean, she's just look, she's perfect, honestly. I didn't know her prior to her match
Thank
um,
you.
against Mercedes. But definitely watching that match, she drew my attention. So when I heard that she was coming to WWE, I knew she was going to take over. And she definitely did. She took over the women's roster on NXT,
She's an
and we
amazing
didn't,
star. She's
yeah,
unbelievable.
and we got to see her and Rhea kind of size each other up this past Monday Night Raw. So they kind of
Yeah,
teasing a possible feud between them two, which should be good. It should be
yeah,
good.
yeah. No, I couldn't deal with Rhea winning this one. Again, be a bit much for me now. But yeah, Naomi definitely. Rhea's getting a little stale, so yeah. Yeah, maybe so. Like some people think she's one dimensional like that. She's actually not that strong on the microphone when like unless she's doing the whole mommy thing, which really was when she was with Dominic, and she's not with him
Mhm.
anymore. So does the mommy side of stuff make any sense anymore? Don't know.
I think it'll pick up. I think it'll pick up the minute these horny dogs see her and Stephanie going back and forth. It will definitely pick up again.
The horny
Absolutely.
dogs.
Yes, because I mean, did you hear
Booker
that
T.
pop when? Yes, like they went insane when Rhea popped up on screen. So I just think they don't have a storyline for Rhea. Like the Bianca and Io and Rhea, it did what it was supposed to do, but it was a very short term storyline. Like they went extremely long with her and Liv.
Yeah.
Thank God they kind of hung that up. At least it looked that way. But then when they was at the award show, they kind of like picked up on it. So I'm hoping just let Sleeping Dog slide.
Oh God,
Give
yeah.
Rhea somebody else to feud with. She doesn't need to do this with
Definitely, and
Liv no more.
I think, as you say, Rhea and Stephanie would be really, really good one. So
Yes.
let's hope they maybe go in that direction. I suppose whatever happens tomorrow night could kick off fresh feuds, even if either one doesn't win. So yeah,
Absolutely. So let's get to what we can safely assume is going to be the main event.
yeah,
A tag match. A tag again. Lazy booking.
it is. It's piss poor. That's exactly what it is.
Lazy booking.
Yeah, Logan Paul. Look, I said it before. Logan Paul, for what he's achieved, like he's really, really talented in the ring, but maybe this is the whole point. He's just such an unlikable dude. And like I say, maybe it's the whole point of it, but they keep pushing him and pushing him and pushing him down our throats all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're getting the whole, oh, he's the YouTuber and John Cena going to ruin wrestling if a YouTuber picks up the belt, all this kind of stuff. But I don't know. I really don't. But
You know,
having said that, Jey Uso's run, and I was delighted for him to win the belt, but I think his run has been a little bit lackluster since
yes.
the belt.
It definitely have. I know some people were so upset that Gunther had lost the title, and I looked at it like, was his title reign any better? His title reign was boring too.
Mhm.
His title reign was very boring. Um,
Hulk Logan.
and it's like I say, you have when they do the draft, it's not equally dispersed.
Mm.
So when you think of the people he could go up against on Raw as champion, you have Seth and Braun Breaker, got Bronson Reed, Penta, and Chad Gable,
But
at
Megan,
El
I'm
Grande
gonna throw this
Americano.
out. I'm going to throw this out here. I know you're a big fan of Jey Uso's, right? Do
Yeah.
you feel right that he struggles as well in the promos? Um, I don't know what it is. Like he even seems like he's a bit nervous or something. Um, Now I don't know whether that's got to do with them changing things behind the scenes at the last minute, or God only knows what's going on. But I don't know. There's just something there. It's just not clicking with him.
Um,
I know we have the entrance. He's so over. He's so popular. But then I don't know. It just kind of seems to die off some way.
hmm,
Now, like I said, that
you
could come
know,
back to who's in charge as well.
I think you had this guy who was a tag team partner with his brother for 13, 14 years. And you kind of teased that he could be his own man. He could be a singles champion. And for like the last 3 years or so, definitely during the pandemic, they kind of eased it in. But then when Jimmy came back, he automatically went to being a tag team champion with his brother again.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have thrown him into the mix. You then made him win the Royal Rumble. You then gave him an opportunity to get the title at the Royal Rumble. He wins. WrestleMania. He wins. And yeah, now he has to probably constantly being compared to every other family member that has held that title. Probably being compared to The Rock. More than likely being compared to Roman, his cousin who held the title 3+ years.
Compared to Big Jim.
So it's like you went for losing. That's how I feel. That's what Jay's issue is. You can't win for losing. You get the opportunity to prove that you can do it, but you're always going to be compared to those who've done it before you. No one is going to be a Roman. Roman is his own. He's like his own planet. No one can be The Rock. He's his own planet. So it's like you have to give Jay the opportunity to be his own man. And people automatically assume that he's going to get shit right and together off bat. He never had an opportunity to be a singles champion because the one time that he did, you took the title away from him after 2 weeks. 2. You gave him the title from Braun Breaker just to have Braun Breaker take it back.
But
so now that he's only been world champion since April. We only in June.
Do you think he's a fantastic in-ring performer?
I've always enjoyed his matches. I enjoyed his matches. I enjoyed his promos with his brother.
Do you not just think he's best suited to tag matches?
No.
Because
I think everybody. No, I think everybody. Not everybody, but I think he has the potential to be a world champion if they just let him be world champion. Just let him be. Let him get into the zone.
They are letting him
but
be.
y'all not letting him. They're not. It's always going to get. Imagine you get put in a position that people feel like you only got in there because of who your family is. You only got it because of how popular you are. They always talking about you only got six wrestling moves. That's all you do. You just recycle the same 6 moves in each match.
Hulk Hogan is a huge star doing that.
Yeah, in the 80s. I mean, like this is it's a different time, but it's like that's just how I feel about it when it comes down to Jay. Damn if you do, damn if you don't. It's like I can't win for losing. Yeah, always compare me to somebody. Y'all saying I can't do this, I can't do that. Y'all root for me, but then y'all talk about me online.
There's an interesting one. Jey Uso is the Ultimate Warrior of today. And the Ultimate Warrior was known for his entrance, and he was gassed by the time he'd get to the ring. Really huge star, mega star, but yeah, the entrance was the big thing, the energy. That's not a bad call there.
I just had a thought. If the same fans said that John Cena can't wrestle, what does that say about how they feel about Jey Uso? Because John Cena will go down as the greatest of all time, right? Even as this heel character, they're going to remember this character.
Everything. You put John Cena on a microphone, he will absolutely roast Jey Uso every day of the week.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it encompasses more than the in-ring side of things. And this is where we discussed this before about Hulk Hogan. A lot of people would have Hulk Hogan on their Mount Rushmore. Hogan had about 4 moves, but he was fantastic. Cutting promos back in those days, promos that were okay for those days. Like he was on a different level, the whole phenomenon of Hulkamania and everything like that. So John Cena is similar. Like Cena is not a technical genius. He's no Bret Hart or anything like that. But Bret Hart was fantastic in the ring, but he didn't have the mic skills either. Do you know what I mean? So that, like, this is it. It's just Cena is just, I think if you have the promo skills, if you're good on the microphone, it does so much more. You can make up for your shortfalls in the ring.
But I've never heard anyone complain about Jay's promo skills. Only since he has gone as a singles wrestler. I've never heard anyone say that the Usos ever cut a bad promo. Ever. And Jay was cutting promos with Jimmy.
Big Jim is better on the microphone than Jay. Jay is maybe the better wrestler.
No, I won't say one is better than the other. They just have a different flair. They have different flair. Their personalities is different. But I wouldn't say one is, because even when them two was feuding with each other, they was cutting good promos. So I can't say one was better than the other.
But do you think it's the fact he's the champ now? That's playing on his mind. That's what's making him maybe nervous. It's put that extra pressure on him, and maybe that's affecting him now.
It's the fans. It's the fans.
Yeah, all the shit online.
It's the fans going from rooting for you to then churning on you overnight. Because the fans was rooting for Jay up until he beat John Cena. And then that's when y'all started to turn on him. Yet, in the very confusing sense of the word, you still doing the entrance that's running about 4 or 5 minutes long. Y'all still eating. Y'all still buying his merch. So it's like, are y'all with him or are y'all against him? Because it's showing 2 different things.
Yeah, well, getting to this match, are you I'm not expecting an awful lot from this match. Um, I I'm kind of going for Cena and Logan Paul to win it, but it's not going to be any kind of a clean win. I wouldn't imagine. There's going to be all kinds of hijinks and stuff going on. Probably a couple of chairs involved or the belt. Um,
I can't see. You think they're gonna sit there and have Cody Rhodes lose his first match back after losing his title?
I don't think they have any problem with that happening.
And that's why this is a bad booked match. It's a terribly booked match.
Well, I saw clips of the John Cena interview with Stephanie McMahon for Stephanie's Places, and he gave his reasons as to why he's retiring. Like he's just not able to do it anymore. He's like his body. He's 48 years old. He's just not able. A lot of the limited moves he was doing, he's just not able to do them well anymore. This is protecting him in a way, by having it as a tag team. He has a limited run this year. It's not like he's wrestling every couple of days like some of the rest of the guys, but it is protecting him in some way. Logan Paul, that's drawing additional heat because maybe the whole heel turn side of things is not working out the way people thought it might. The heel turn itself, when it happened, was insane, but ever since it's kind of fallen off a cliff. And I know we're hearing it, but that's the point. That's the point, because he said he was going to ruin wrestling, but no, I don't think it'll be remembered as being a memorable run. But that's where Logan Paul comes in. I think it's
Right.
Who's more hated than that guy at the minute.
Yeah, this is true. This is sadly true. But
this is a difficult one to predict because I don't think they care that, it's Cody's first match back. They can't have him lose. I don't think that even registers, to be honest.
You have John and Logan win. Where do you go from there? Where do you go from there?
Because or else, if they want to run
Cody
Cena,
wants his title. Huh?
If they want to run Cena and Cody again at SummerSlam, maybe they could have Cody pinning Cena, and it's part of the tag team, and he doesn't lose his belt or anything like that. So maybe that's some way they could go with it. But I just thought they wanted to have Cena wrestle some other people like CM Punk and those.
I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. I just see it as if Cody and Jay was to win, John is not eating the pin.
Here's one. Do you think this match is going to be last tomorrow night?
Yeah, it's going to be the main event.
Yeah. So
it will only not be the main event if they have a plan for the men's Money in the Bank match.
Or unless they're planning
will be the only time.
Whoever wins the Money in the Bank, the men's Money in the Bank, comes out here and cashes in.
I would think so, because you have both champions in this match. It would not make sense for y'all. Of course, this would be the main event match. They're not going to put John in any matches before the main event.
Yeah.
They're not. So I would assume that they will start with the men's Money in the Bank match. And then they will go to be Becky and Lyra. Or they could start with Becky and Lyra. And no. I would still go with the men's Money in the Bank match, because that would give them enough time to recover if they choose to cash in by the end of the night.
I think there could be a cash in here tomorrow night. Like it just
somebody's cashing it.
Yeah.
Somebody is definitely going to try to cash in. Um, I think it will be absolutely crazy if they try to cash in on Jay and actually take that title off of him. But at the same time, he has that. He didn't already promise Gunther a rematch, so I don't think
Mm.
he will lose the title before that rematch. They didn't already
Yeah.
put that out there in the ethers, so I don't think he will lose it before then. But
But they're not going to waste a cash in. I mean,
well, it could just not be a successful cash in. Like you could try to cash in, but you don't get the opportunity. You know, the referee
mm,
doesn't necessarily take the briefcase. So kind of like what they did with Austin Theory all those years ago.
yeah, or Tiffany teasing it for so long too.
Yes, because honestly, I can't see them pulling another Drew McIntyre.
Yeah,
I
maybe
can't
so.
see them doing that because he cashed in the same night and lost. He lost it.
Mm,
So that would be
yeah,
tragic.
yeah,
That would be
true.
tragic. But yes, so
But yeah, look,
before Money in the Bank, we got
yes,
Worlds Collide.
we do indeed. And we have
There goes your
El
favorite
Grande. Oh,
guy.
sorry, not El Grande. We have Chad Gable.
Same guy, same guy, same built, same
I'm
ears,
sure
same
he
big
looks good.
head.
All right. Yeah.
I'm with Michael Cole on this one. We all know. We all know. But look at this. You have not only given this man a title opportunity, the AAA Mega Championship title opportunity, and then later on in the evening, his twin, we just on say it,
Mhm.
his twin is an opportunity and Money in the Bank now. Chad is not winning.
But they obviously think a lot of Chad Gable at the moment.
Absolutely. Look, I was rooting for Chad when he was battling Gunther for the what was that? The Intercontinental title. I was rooting for him. I was at one of the matches that he had against Gunther. I think it was the actual show that his daughter was doing the crying and people, you know,
Mm.
I don't know, they get off on seeing children cry. But no, I was rooting for Chad even then. So I'm glad that he's getting the opportunities that he rightfully
Yeah.
deserves. I mean, Chad is a he's a he's a fantastic technical wrestler. He reminds me so much of Kurt Angle and just growing up and watching Kurt Angle going
Yeah.
from having hair on his head to being bald headed. Like, you know, like we grew up with Kurt and you know, Chad reminds me a lot of him. So I am glad that he is getting the opportunities that he is getting now. Am I crazy about this character that they got him playing in order to get these opportunities? No, I'm not
Yeah.
crazy about it because you could have just simply pushed him as himself.
And can you
But
see him winning this mega championship tomorrow?
he's not winning the title. He's
Mm.
not winning that title. I don't think they're going to take that title off of him. Um,
El
uh,
Hijo del Viking.
Viking go? No, absolutely not. I mean, look, I'm not very familiar with AAA, but I've definitely seen him in AEW, and that guy is a crazy good wrestler. A
Yeah.
crazy good.
Well, this
Um,
whole card for anyone that's into the high flyers, the fast paced wrestling, like this card is going to be absolutely jam packed with that.
absolutely. But
Yeah,
Chad is not winning. Chad,
but
you're not
Chad
winning.
just for technical, yeah, technical
Uh,
ability, and we've
yeah.
got Ethan Page
Mhm.
then defending his NXT North American title against Javon Evans, Ray Phoenix, and Laredo Kid. So, what way do you see this one going?
I would love to see Javon get this title.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Ethan.
What age is Javon?
Javon is like 22.
He'd be one of the youngest champions ever.
Yep, right behind. He would take it. He'd take that title off of, who was it? Dominique. I think Dominique was the youngest. I don't know. I think Dominique was the youngest at the time when he had won the North American title.
Yeah.
Somebody could easily correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, I would like to see Javon win. When Ricky had lost that title, I automatically knew Ricky was going to the main roster. The same way he had lost his title the same night as Stephanie did. And I knew that was them being called up. Ethan winning this title, I think it's just a passing of the torch. I would love to see Javon getting this title. You know, he had a really big NXT Heavyweight Championship 3-way match against Oba and Trick Williams. Now we know Trick Williams is the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. Oba is still the NXT champion. So honestly, I think it's time for Javon to be pushed up. You just had him on SmackDown last week. Yeah. Go on and put the title on him. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nothing
it's going to be an interesting one to see anyway.
Yeah. Now, I'm not against Ray Phoenix winning either, but do I see him staying on NXT? I can see him going back and forth, but you know, you put him on SmackDown for a reason.
I don't know whether it matters as much anymore. You know, I think they can just move between NXT and the main roster because, like, we've seen that already with some of the ladies going back and forth. So, yeah, I don't think it matters an awful lot.
Yeah. Yes, I'll definitely be watching. I wanted to go because I'm in New York, but I had to skip this show. But I'll definitely be watching House of Glory show this weekend. So it's a crazy weekend for wrestling, but if you're a wrestling fan, more than likely will have fun this weekend.
Not going to be doing a lot of anything else this weekend, only enjoying wrestling if you're a wrestling fan.
Just, sure. You know, if you're a wrestling fan, it's going to be a good week.
Yeah. You're going to eat well this weekend.
Definitely. Now,
we have a lot of guys involved here.
I'm not familiar with the other three. I'm not.
Yeah.
But now that WWE has bought AAA, I will be more, you know, motivated to watching their shows and get familiar with the wrestlers and stuff out there. Honestly, I don't see Santos and his boys winning. I do not see Santos, Himburl, or Angel winning.
I don't know. I'll just be really interested to see this. This will be on a little bit earlier as well tomorrow. Be able to watch it on YouTube and
yes,
just some of the characters involved. I think it'll be insane. It'll be crazy.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm definitely going with Team AAA. I'm going with them. Excellent. Come down to this match now. Again, here we go. Got 5 matches and only 1 women's match.
Doing double duty. Yeah.
You know, it's yes. Stephanie has gosh, you know, to be
Coming up
involved
with
in
Lola.
this match, the top of the day, and then she's going to be in Money in the Bank at the end of the day, you know, and she got a match tonight. I mean, when will this woman rest?
So
But
this is Chick Tormenta and Dallas. Is that what we have here versus Stephanie and Lola? Um, I don't know. Seeing how this pans out could dictate then how things go in the ladies' ladder match later in the evening. But look, I'm always happy to see. I like Lola Voice as well. I'm always happy to see Stephanie Vacker wrestling.
yeah,
That's for sure. So I mean, I think this is definitely something. But look, if we look at this card as well, we've only got one ladies match. Surely they could have fit some more in there too.
you know, that's is an ongoing issue
A token
for
match.
multiple promotions.
Mm.
Of course, we're not speaking of AEW right now, but AEW had the same situation.
AEW are really, really
We
doing
have 4
great stuff.
hours of wrestling, 4 hours of wrestling, and only 2 women's matches.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a recurring issue. It's a recurring issue that goes across the board. So it's not just one promotion; it's multiple promotions that is doing this. You even see it in TNA. So, you know, just support
That's
the
why
all women's promotions like WoW and Stardom.
that's
And
why Evolution only has 5 matches on it. Like it's just kind of a token pay-per-view then. Like I mean, they're really not giving, you know, that it should be over 2 nights really. You know, I know they're not going to do that either, um but maybe there should be just more dedicated women's pay-per-views.
it should be, but you're screaming into the void, you
Or
know,
maybe just a
screaming into the
women's,
void.
you know, like we have so many weekly shows now. They could free up a special show dedicated to the women's division. I don't know. They could learn a lot
Nice.
from some other like Stardom and places like that. Definitely.
It's a nice idea. It's a
Mm,
nice idea. That's all I can say about it. It's a nice idea. Will it be
yeah,
done? Only God knows.
yeah. And we have the LWO then take on Octagon Junior, Aero Star, and Mr. Iguana. Mr. Iguana. Yeah, that'll
Yes,
be
the
another
3 of
interesting
them
one.
was on NXT this past Tuesday.
Yeah,
You know, watching their competition, you know, watching who they will be facing come tomorrow.
yeah.
And you know, if Santos and Burrow and Angel loses their match, I don't know if Dragon Lee, I don't know if they'll lose.
Mm.
But I feel like if you want to showcase the talent from Triple A, you will have them lose.
Yeah, that's it. Like AAA are going to have to come across really well in this
They're
pay per
gonna
view.
have to.
Yeah.
So,
So
you
yeah, it's going
know,
to be
but
interesting.
you know, and I ain't trying to upset people when I say this, but I definitely see them trying to attempt to make their forbidden door like AEW. And it's just not well, you know, it just doesn't
Not
feel like
follow
it
through with
was
it.
well thought out.
Yeah, not follow through with it properly. like a lot of things in recent times. But yeah, look, that'll be a nice little starter for the main course tomorrow night. I think so. Gets everyone going. But we still have, of course, SmackDown tonight, and we have TNA then, of course, against all odds. That's tonight. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of people closely following what's going on there. I know we have Elijah. He's going to be taking on Trick Williams for the TNA World Championship.
Yeah.
Trick is fresh off a win over Mike Santana the other night, retaining his title. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where they're going with this, with Trick
With
having the title, but it's very
Trick having the title.
interesting
Did you
too.
think that was a bit crap for that to happen? I saw an interview with Nick Nemeth. I think it was, I don't know whether it was, but didn't seem too happy over the whole, that aspect, that side of it.
Oh, nobody was happy. Nobody from TNA was happy that the NXT guy took their title.
Yeah.
But I think that's just the way in letting people know that this is more than a partnership between these two companies.
We're the bosses. Yeah.
Yeah, we knew eventually that with as many times as an NXT wrestler fought for a TNA title and vice versa, we knew eventually someone was going to win the other company's title.
Yeah.
And it just so happened to have been Trick Williams.
It kind of devalues it in a way, maybe.
Why?
Hmm?
Why? You got Mercedes walking around with multiple titles from multiple promotions. She just won a title last night in Austria. She just won a title yesterday in Vienna. And she's an AEW star.
Yeah.
Now, so I don't think it devalues it. I mean, this is just the beginning of the crossover between both brands. Eventually, you will start seeing more NXT wrestlers with TNA titles, and you will eventually see a TNA superstar with an NXT title, maybe even a main roster title. I think that's their way in closing the gap between both companies.
Yeah, maybe so. We'd want to maybe see that soon then, because otherwise it looks a bit lopsided if it's the WWE talent just winning the TNA belts.
Yeah, I know. Yes. She won the title last night. So is she gonna take the title off of Toni Storm? Only time will tell. But
she's undefeated anyway, since she
did win that title last night. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think on TNA we've also got Masha Slamovich. She'll be taking on Li Ying Lee for the Knockouts World Championship. Joe Hendry has a bit of a grudge match against Frankie Kazarian. That goes back a while. I think that's rivalry.
Yeah. Well, Frankie is very upset that Joe lost his title to a guy that's not on their roster.
Yeah.
And, he made it very clear that wouldn't have happened on my watch, and stuff. And, look, the better man won, right?
That's it.
In that moment in time, the better man won, and the better man was Trick. And, it seems like the locker room is kind of upset with Joe right now, with Frankie being the one with the tiki torch in the front lines. So, maybe he'll be able to beat the frustration from losing his title to Trick on Frankie tonight. We'll see.
Maybe so. And Santino Marella then and Ariana Grace, he'll be taking on Robert Stone, who has Tessa Blanchard. You're not a Tessa fan anyway, that's for sure. Remember?
I'm not crazy about her.
Yeah.
Talent wise, she's a talented wrestler. Um, I don't know her to have any real um opinions about her, but from what I've heard, she's not a nice person.
Yeah.
And no, I don't tend to like unnice people.
Yeah, and the Nemets, then the TNA Tag Champions, are taking on the Rascals. So
Yes.
looks to be quite a packed card. Like that's going to be a long pay-per-view, I'd imagine.
Um, give and take. It will be on around the same time as SmackDown, so it will be hard to kind of like go back and forth between the two. But
Yeah,
like me, I have one playing on the TV, one playing on the computer, and I will be going back to watching them both.
yeah.
This
There's one
is
match. Yeah,
Oh,
go
I was
ahead.
just gonna say, but this SmackDown is the going home show before Money in the Bank, so I would hope that it's not a boring show because they tend to
3 hours.
send us off into these. They tend to send us off into these pay-per-views, and the shows just terrible. So I'm
Yeah,
hoping that this SmackDown is booked and entertaining for the most part. The Y6 is back, so we're happy about that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the Y6 and Alexa Bliss is on the same show, but they're kind of keeping them separated. Uh, I'm guessing Bianca will be back, since she did come back last week, so maybe she'll be a constant, maybe
Yeah,
backstage because her finger hasn't fully healed yet. Um, but yeah, I'm trying to see what's really going on between Alexa and Charlotte.
Mm.
So they keep it seems like they try to bud something between them two.
Well, they have
I'm
to
trying to
find
figure out what it is.
something additional for Charlotte now to put her into.
Got
Um,
to.
I think so because she has to be part of plans. I just wanted to say though about the TNA, we do have there's a match there, the Elegance brand versus Zaya Brookside, Mila Grace, and Harley Hudson, and Mila, of course, being from Ireland, the north of Ireland. And Harley Hudson is from just across the water in the UK. I think she's from around Liverpool or something as well. So, and that's good to see. They were both signed recently there to TNA, so it's fantastic to see.
Nice.
Um, yeah, and just getting around into some indie news. I think, which is it's always important for us to give a bit of that type of news. Um, OTT, Over the Top Wrestling, have their summer bash here on July the 5th in the KRFC in Dublin, and featuring the likes of Be Cool, OTT champion Big Damo, and there's tag team champs then of Trent Seven and Sammy D. We have Raven Creed then as well. She's another fantastic wrestler here. And the following day, then in Belfast, there's a continuation of the Summer Bash with additional stars like the Social Elite and Santos and lots more competing. And then before this, we've got OTT Contenders this Sunday in the National Stadium in Dublin, and that's well worth checking out. We've matches CBL versus Big Damo, and Big Damo was in WWE in the past, and I think his wife is Nikki Cross. And Matthew Bullet Smith then and Keen Noonan versus BDE. We have Raven Creed and Cat Fun K, and they're two wonderful female wrestlers here. And Renzo Rose versus Young Dara. So there's plenty for everyone. And OTT are also doing a live tour around Ireland then later this year. So for any fans that don't normally get to where they usually put on their shows in Dublin, they'll be putting on shows in Limerick, Carlow, Killarney, and I think there's somewhere else there. I can't think of it. But that's be September, October, and December. So a lot of opportunities then for people, and they're doing a lot of seminars then in the upcoming weeks and months. across June and July as well. So a rich history of providing top wrestling talent that have gone across to bigger things in the US. So yeah, well worth checking out.
Nice. Yeah, as I said, this weekend is going to be very busy for us wrestling fans. MLW does have their War Chambers going on this Saturday, tomorrow. We do have the Rogue Horsemen. They'll be going up against Paul London. For those who remember Paul London, Mr. Thomas, Matthew Justice, and Alex Kane. This will be his final match as an MLW wrestler. So please make sure that you go out and support him, as he is going to whoop all their asses one last time in the name of Bumaye. Okay. We also have the House of Glory. Mike Santana presents Puerto Rico weekend. It's happening this weekend, which is the same time as our annual Puerto Rican Day Parade. I know the main event will be Mike Santana versus Ishii. Love watching that man wrestle. Should be a really good match. Also, we're going to have Miss Diona Purrazzo.
Well,
She'll be
nice.
going up against the former Elektra Lopez. I think this is her first match since being let go from WWE.
Wow.
We got a list of other people and other matches as well. So I will be tuning into all those matches this weekend. And yes, I will be at that show. I will be at that show. The Beast, Summer Beast. That is June 26th. That will be at the Melrose Ballroom in Queens, New York. I will be there as well.
Nice.
They've been hinting that Shotzi will debut there. So it'll be good to see her again back in the ring. We have already seen Jakara, Cora Jade, and Gigi Dolan all have pretty much shown that they bounce back as soon as they've been released. They all have their calendars is booked. Okay, they're booked and busy. So also Shotzi does have another match coming up too. She is going up against
I see she's coming to the UK. I think she's
yes, Nina
progress with
Samuels.
her. Yeah.
That's who it is, Nina Samuels. And I will be looking forward to that as well. So yeah, if you can, make sure that you check out House of Glory. I think the bell starts at 6:30 on Triller. And as for MLW, you can always catch that. I think that's between 9:30 and 10 o'clock on YouTube. Yeah, again, support the indies.
Yeah,
Support
just going
the
back.
independent wrestlers.
So is OTT on Triller, Roberto? It's not, they have their own streaming service, OTTondemand.com. It's their own streaming service, so you can pick up that online. There's a lot of you'll see a lot of the archive stuff from back in the day. Some of the huge names that they've had, you know, through the years that have appeared there. So yeah, there's a lot of things there. Lot of footage, a lot of events from days gone by also. Yeah, so it really is a very, very busy weekend of wrestling coming up, starting pretty soon now with SmackDown.
Okay, so I don't know. I just came across something. So please send prayers to Ric Flair, who has said that he was diagnosed with skin cancer for the second time in 3 years. And also continue to send prayers to Jim Ross, who is still recovering from being diagnosed with cancer and having surgery more recently. And
Yeah, I think Jim
just keep
came through that,
these,
didn't he? He came
yes,
through successfully. Thank.
just keep these older wrestlers in your prayers. Um, that life, life will come at you so fast. I know people were so upset with Ric Flair after some words exchanged with Jim Ross, but at the end of the day, we grew up watching both of them,
Yeah.
and want them to live as long as the Lord provides them. So yes, please send your prayers
What I
to
will
both
also
men.
say though is it's Men's Mental Health Month here now in June, and I think it's a good one too. Just to remember that. There's a lot of people suffering out there, and a lot of people say things then maybe due to how they're feeling and stuff like that. So yeah, it's something to keep in mind. There's always somebody there to chat to as well if you have any issues or anything. So make sure any guys out there just to speak up. Very, very important.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So look, a lot of wrestling, as we said, a lot of things to catch up on this weekend. I won't get anything else done. I'll be watching wrestling all weekend.
Yes, and as much as we love talking to y'all, I got empanadas I gotta make before
Yeah.
this pay per view and SmackDown comes on. My family is hungry. And
Yeah.
I have to
Mo-
go and feed
Mommy
them.
job have to continue no matter what.
Uh,
That's it.
Mommy, sister, daughter.
That's it.
Yeah, that's what
Oh.
happens when you're a cook in the house.
Well, Megan, thank you for your company once again. And thanks to everybody that
Absolutely.
joined us. Pleasure.
Yes. Thank you, everybody. Listen, we've been talking about how often we want to do the show, and I
Mm.
think we're still going to push for every 2 weeks, or are we going to still try to do every week? What do you say?
Yeah, we'll be trying to do every week, I think, but it doesn't always work out that way, of course,
Right.
with everything. So at least every 2 weeks, we'd like to be
Yes.
putting something out.
So, I'll definitely let you guys know by Wednesday, no later than Thursday, if we'll be on next week. But we'll definitely be on the day before any major PLEs or pay-per-views. But look for us to pop up every 2 weeks. We also will be pushing more content on our YouTube channel as well as Twitch. But just keep an eye out on the content and stuff. Got a lot of things going on outside of wrestling to kind of keep us both away
Yeah,
from being able to make content, but we are doing our very, very best. Yeah,
definitely.
Pastelios. Yeah, listen, I know that there's two separate terms for it, and you would think I would use the proper term, living on the Lower East Side, like I live in, you know, in the areas. But yeah, it's a good thing I can't have my car stolen because yeah, I have to get a car first. But yes, Pastelios, thank you for correcting me. Thank you. I definitely appreciate it. But yes, so make sure that you tune in to SmackDown tonight.
Yes.
Make sure that you tune in to TNA tonight. make sure that you tune into Worlds Collide, Money in the Bank, MLW, House of Glory tomorrow. I don't know how y'all gonna do it. I don't know. Maybe space it out over the weekend, but you can't watch tomorrow. You go watch on Sunday.
Exactly.
Even though Sunday is the day of rest, you're supposed to rest that day. But, you know, wrestling is back, y'all. Wrestling is back.
Yeah, exactly. And thanks, Roberta. Thanks everybody that joined us. And yeah, we will be back soon and we'll chat you all again. Take care.